got Marryam ma'am with us. She's the experienced architect for the Kashmiri Culinary Trail, and she's with us today to answer your questions and any queries that you may have. If you have any questions about the trail, about the food, about the cuisine, this is your chance. So how we're gonna do this is the best way is with a show of hands. So I have all of you on my screen. You'll be on mute, but ma'am can talk. If you have any questions, just raise your hand. I'll put you up on the screen. I hope that works. And there's always the comment section where you can come and ask your questions. Ma'am, you can begin.
Who has the first question for me?
In fact, I have the first question. So,
Right, yes, please.
What are your expectations like from the whole trail and of the participants?
I want the participants who are now all strangers to each other and to me, I want them to become a close, nice team, not team, actually a group of friends by the time we finish. I would like them to know a little bit of, or a lot, as much as they would like to, or as little as they would like to absorb of Kashmiri food and the culture. And I just want them to have fun, and I would like to have a little bit of fun myself. That's it. That's my expectations. How about everyone else?
Yeah, can I?
Yes,
sure.
please.
Good evening, madam. This is G.R. Mohan.
Hello, GR.
Yeah, madam, my question is regarding the Kashmir cuisine. Is it's only the highlighted is the Wazwan, okay? And I came to know that only best Wazwan is available in Kashmiri wedding.
Yes.
Okay, if a person like me want to go and hang out with a good Wazwan, I don't have any friends or relatives there in Kashmir. So, what is the best way out I can get the good Wazwan tasted in Kashmir?
Yeah, that's what this trail is all about. We won't nobody is going to get married during the trail, but we're definitely going to organize a wedding, a banquet the same way that we would if we had a wedding.
Okay. And one more question for me.
Yes, absolutely.
I have one more question, and my question is the spices what they use in Kashmir dishes like cinnamon, and what all the spices that they use. It is not that spicy compared to the South Indian taste.
No. The South Indian taste is haldi. It's chili. It's like Andhra chili from Guntur, etc. Those are hot tastes in the front of the mouth, and this is garam masalas, which will hit you at the back of the mouth, so the flavors linger on more.
That's what. Because one thing what I tasted, it went on the back as you rightly said.
Yes.
The moment you have the South Indian food, the moment you have the South Indian food, it will immediately touches to your the chili. You can find it out, right?
Yes,
I got it, madam. Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Hope to see you on the trail, GR.
Thank you very much. We are also so excited. I'm from Hyderabad. I'm from Hyderabad.
Okay. So it's the hottest food in India.
Yeah, that is what my question was. Right.
Okay, next, please.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Who has the next question? Anyone? Show of hands, please. Shirish, sir, ma'am, you wanted to ask a question. We can't hear you yet. Maybe there's some issue with your mic or something. You can just check that up. We have a question in the comments.
Yes.
So Awadhi and Kashmiri food seem so close, yet so different. How is that?
That's a very technical question, actually. Awadhi food comes from Iran, and Kashmiri food comes from a combination of Iran and Central Asia. Awadhi food is royal food. It's come from the Mughal court. Kashmiri food has not come from any royal family. That's the huge difference. Otherwise, Hyderabadi food, for example, has come from a dynasty, a royal dynasty. So in Kashmir, there has not been any Muslim royal dynasty whose cooking is legendary. It's just come from the common people. So that's what basically the difference is.
So
And
the
then of
reg-
course there is a lot of meat used in Kashmiri food, much more than anywhere else, and every part of the animal is cooked. It's not that it's only the ran that is most famous and nobody cooks the brain, or I mean everything is made use of in the best possible way. So that's it.
all right, so it's the regular man's food, and there's no dynasty or royal
Yes, yes,
history
yes,
behind
absolutely.
Kashmiri food.
That's one way of looking
Whereas
at it.
Awadhi is has some history like that.
Has a history of royalty behind it, yes. Mughal court.
All right. So we've got who's has the next question here. In the meanwhile, we've got a question from Sharik. How can we prepare gushtaba without fat?
It is as easy as preparing Lucknowi kebabs like kakori kebab without fat, but then you won't get the taste. Unfortunately, in Indian cuisine, uh, fat is equal to taste. That's why it was used. And it is we who are doing something wrong because first we used to eat a lot of fat and we used to consume it by working in the fields, and now we eat a lot of fat and we sit at our office desk on Google Hangout and we're not able to burn that. So that is basically what it is.
All right, interesting. I've had these conversations with people that a lot of good food is made out of fat.
It unfortunately it does
Yeah,
have the best taste. There's
exactly.
you cannot
As
get
they say,
away from it.
anything healthy does not taste good, and anything that tastes good is not healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we've got another question. This is from Rahul Patil. There's some noise around him, so he's texted it to us.
Right.
I'm an amateur cook and have started cooking recently. Will
Yes.
cooking lessons be too difficult for me?
Not at all. In fact, you should go on YouTube. That's the best, the most expeditious way. Go on YouTube, see how to do it. Like, because I can tell you fry an onion, but how much the onion has to layer the bottom of your pan, how much of oil to put, it's just almost too much of an effort to take you step by step. But if you see it on YouTube, the whole process becomes gets a little bit more clarity, and then instead of keeping a recipe book open, you can just keep YouTube just outside, I mean on your computer just outside your kitchen, and keep going back and forth to see how much of each spice is put at what stage, and it's very very easy. That's like a real idiot proof way of cooking, of learning how to cook.
That's great. I've done that a lot of times.
Absolutely. I'll one day come over to your house to see the results. Kaisa hai.
So that would be great. Any tips would also be
Yes,
helpful.
yes, yes, absolutely.
And Rahul Patel says thank you.
You're welcome.
We've got another question from Ishrat. Is there
Yes.
any similarity between Kashmiri cuisine and Mughlai cuisine?
No, unfortunately not. The Mughals came to Kashmir. Emperor Jahangir came quite often to Kashmir. I think they say 9 times or something. But there is absolutely no history of what food he used to eat or what food the Mughals used to eat in Kashmir. It's all like they were just on one big sightseeing junket. They built gardens, they made like gardens with fountains, they built mosques, they built buildings, but nothing at all to do with food. So there's the Kashmiri food has not come from the Mughals at all.
Interesting. That's an interesting insight.
It's one of the finest cuisines in India. It's usually people say the three finest are Hyderabadi, Lucknowi, and Kashmiri. Hyderabadi and Lucknowi have a direct correlation with a royal dynasty. But Kashmir, there have been royal dynasties, including the Mughals, but there is zero correlation between Kashmiri food and any royal dynasty at all. Even the own Kashmiri, the Shahmiris,
All
there
right.
is no history of their cuisine being used right now.
Interesting. So, all right. Who has the next question? Who wants to know more about Kashmiri cuisine, Wazwan? Any questions around that? Show of hands, please. Well, we had some more questions online.
Yeah, please let's go through them.
Yeah. So, how does the preparation style for Wazwan varies from region to region in Kashmir and even in India? So, does it differ in say Kashmir from Delhi to some other place? The Wazwan cuisine that we're talking about?
No, no, Vazwan is only in Kashmir. The way that 5 or 6 or 40 or 60 sheep are slaughtered and used, every portion of the sheep is used in a different piece, in a different preparation with a different accompaniment. That is what a Vazwan is. And a Vazwan is cooked by like a Maharaj will cook in Varanasi. He's a heredity guy. You can't be, running a hardware shop one day and becoming a Maharaj the next day. So it's a seamless transition. Your father used to be a Vaza, you are a Vaza, your son will be a Vaza, so on and so forth. That is what a Vazwan is. You cannot have a meal in Calcutta or in Delhi or in Bangalore and say, yes, this is a Vazwan. No.
Right. So, it has to be exclusively in Kashmir.
In Kashmir, unfortunately. Yes, but then Rogan Josh would be part of a Vazwan in Kashmir. But if you and I sit in Hyderabad and make Rogan Josh, that is a Vazwan dish, but it's only one dish. The whole part about a Vazwan is that there has to be 15 or 20 dishes, all using meat. There's no vegetarian dish in a Vazwan.
Any particular reason behind that? I've always wondered.
Behind what? I mean,
The fact that it's only meat and nothing vegetarian.
because it's a way of using up the whole animal.
Okay.
So if you want to have, say for example, guest control, you can, and if you have only two dishes, you will be being very extravagant and very wasteful, because it's only the chest pieces which will make the one dish. Say korma, for example, it's only made with the chest pieces because it's fatty, and there's a little bit of souring agent to cut out the fat. So you cannot make it with anything else. Then there's tabak mas, which is only made with the ribs, and that's deep fried. So everything has its own taste, everything has its own place in the banquet.
So every part of the animal makes for
It
a different
gets,
dish.
yes, gets used up.
All right, that's interesting. And we've got another question from Ishrat.
Yes, Ishrat.
How do Kashmiris or in Kashmir, people who cook there in Wazwan cuisine, how do they incorporate majorly grown dry fruits over there in the cuisine? So
They
how are
don't.
the dry fruits, locally grown dry fruits
No,
incorporated?
no. There's absolutely no correlation. There's almonds, there are walnuts, and that's about it. Almonds and walnuts, they're never ever used in Kashmiri food. Never ever. In fact, sometimes when we go to restaurants in other parts of the country like Mumbai, etc., and they say Kashmiri naan, and they bring out a chapati with lots of chopped walnuts on it, everyone laughs because it's got nothing at all to do with Kashmiri food. That's just a name that has someone has given.
So technically there's no dry fruits in them.
No, no dry fruits, no.
Next time when I'm having anything Kashmiri, I'll keep a lookout.
Some finely sliced almond slivers are used in kahwa, but that's not a part of the meal. That's an like you have
Kahwa
it
is a tea,
afterwards.
right?
Kahwa is a tea.
Yeah,
Yes, the digestive tea.
yeah. That's a good. I don't know. Never had it in Kashmir. I've had a few in Delhi, and they've been nice.
Yes, it's a delicious tea to drink.
All right. So we've got many more questions in chat. Let me just pick up
Yes,
the next
yes,
one.
that, yes.
Okay. Will this food trail also involve actual hands-on cooking for the participants?
Yes, yes, yes. Not every day, but on 2 days, certainly.
All right. That was asked by Rajan Rao, who wanted to know, probably interested in actual cooking.
Yes,
And he sends his thanks. There's another one from Ramani Swarna.
right.
She'd like to know more about Wari masala. Is it different from one region to another of Kashmir?
No, no, no. There's only one word. It depends from whether the Hindu, the Pandit tradition uses hing. Muslims don't use hing. They use shallots and garlic. But both of them pound red chilies and pound a few other masalas, for example, coriander seeds. No housewife in Kashmir is ever going to tell you, "मैं ये डालती हूँ." Never ever. They'll just say, "Oh, my daughter-in-law made it," or I bought it from the market or something. They're never ever going to give you the recipe because that's like everyone has their own secret. In my family, we make the best, of course, but in my neighbor's family, they also make the best. So it's just subject to a lot of मेरा बच्चा सबसे अच्छा है kind of thing.
Personal opinion.
And yeah, absolutely. Total personal opinion. Total.
All
And
right.
it's roughly the same. And there's no within Kashmir, it's such a small place that
Yeah.
there is no regionality in Kashmir the way there is in, say, Bengal or Maharashtra. You go to coastal Maharashtra, you go to Pune, you go to Kolhapur, and the cuisine keeps differing. There's nothing like that in Kashmir. All over Kashmir is exactly the same.
All right. That's a new revelation because we always thought that Kashmir is a big state and
It's tiny. The Kashmir Valley. I mean, Jammu is separate, Ladakh is separate, but the
yeah,
Kashmir Valley is so tiny that there's no regions within Kashmir.
interesting. So you get uniformity of whatever
Yeah.
food you're having.
And, see, now if you divide Kashmir into north and south with Srinagar right in the middle, the
Yeah.
North Kashmiris will say हमारा अच्छा है, the South Kashmiris will say हमारा अच्छा है. It's generally believed that the South Kashmiris don't have that refined taste as the North Kashmiris, but I'm sure even that must be prejudice. It's
Great.
nice to have an enemy to keep fighting with and indulging in this kind of like gang warfare. Mera khana acha hai and whatnot. I
Probably
think
that makes you make your own food better than
well, if you
people.
keep on saying mera khana acha hai, mera khana acha hai, maybe somebody else will also say, हाँ, इनका खाना वाकई में अच्छा है.
All right. Okay, so the next one is from Qazi Maharaj.
Right.
He wants to know what's the influence of Kashmiri Pandits on the dishes of Vaziwan, if there is any.
There's a separate cuisine, there is a separate set of dishes for a Pandit Vazwan. Completely separate. That is slightly more vegetables than the Muslim, and it's cooked in a slightly different way with hing and no onions and no garlic. That's the main difference. And we are incidentally going to be seeing both of them because it's like Kashmir is basically a crucible in which Buddhism came, in which Sikhism came. The sixth Guru of Sikhism, Chatti Patshahi, he came to Kashmir to preach. Wherever he stopped to pray, there's been a Gurdwara erected in his memory. It's all the gurdwaras in Kashmir are all called Chatti Padshahi after the sixth Guru. There's Islam, there's Hinduism, there's a whole lot of, and there's Dogra food, there's a whole lot of minor cuisines. It's like a small little crucible. It's like a thali. You can't say, oh, in this thali I'm not going to have any sabzi, or today I'm not going to keep any dal in my thali. Everything belongs together, and that's what makes Kashmir the vibrant place that it is.
Okay, it's like complete dish. Unlike
Absolutely.
unlike the city food where we on a regular basis maybe have dal and sabzi and roti.
Yes,
That's about
yes,
it.
yes, yes,
That's
yes. We
maximum
have a
like
lot.
you will
Yeah,
get in a
yeah.
regular
We
day.
have. Yes, we have a lot. I hope that answers your question, sir.
I'm sure it does. Yeah, it does. They've sent out their thanks. So there's another one after that. There's a new term that I've read. There's something called a noon chai, and they want to know why do they use soda bicarb in that?
To make it pink. Can you believe it? It's so disgusting. Like when my mother-in-law goes to somebody's house and that person has some health problem, because soda bicarb is extremely unhealthy, as you can imagine. So my mother-in-law drinks tea which has less soda bicarb, and she says, "My goodness, what kind of an establishment do those people run? It's not as red as like Wazul is the name for red and pink. So she says that it's not as volatile as ours. They have white nunchai. Just imagine. And all of us say, white? Oh God, mom, never go to their house again. So it's basically for the color, because the tea is boiled and boiled and boiled. And then milk is added and then it's boiled some more. You basically boil it for about an hour at a time. So when you boil it with soda bicarb, then the leaves become pink.
Okay, and any particular reason why it's called a noon chai?
Noon in Sanskrit is salt, and this tea has salt in it. It's not sugar.
Okay, I think I've had a similar tea in Bhutan, something
Yes, yeah,
called
all
tea.
the mountain regions
Correct,
have.
correct. I'll make a note of that. I've learned something new today. And I'm sure Sharik Sayed has also gotten an answer. We have another one. So, what are the different kinds of sharbats in Kashmir?
Sharbats.
Yeah.
Sharbat, basically, there's only one major one, and that is, it's called Babri Beol. It's sabja seeds soaked in water, and you put a little bit of milk in it, and you put a little bit of sugar in it, and stir it, and you basically drink it when you break your fast in the month of Ramzan. Or if you want to celebrate some good news or something of that sort, you make a lot of sharbat, like say a tub of sharbat, and you take the tub out into the market exactly as you have on the festival days of the Sikh gurus, like in Delhi, you see people distributing sharbat and crowds going there to drink. It's exactly the same principle.
All right. Thank you for that. There's now Ramani Swarna wants to know another thing.
Yes.
What are the various dishes prepared from lotus seeds?
Lotus seeds are not eaten as a dish, they're eaten as a snack. But lotus stem, nadru, that is used in a number of dishes. That is used with meat. It's cut into uh, pieces of about 3 inches long. You cannot have like finely sliced lotus stem. So you have nice big chunks of it. You put it in dal, in moong, the whole moong dal. You put it in meat. You put it with the spinach green called nadru and hak. There's that. Those are the main dishes. And then, of course, there's a couple of snacks, but that's street food. I hope that answers your question.
There's another extension to that. How do
Yes.
you cut the lotus roots or nadru to prepare nadru monji?
Oh, see, wow, that's an interesting one. Um, Another moinge is you don't take the fat nadrus. Okay, you take the really, really thin ones like in this season and next month. You will get very, very fat nadrus and very thin ones also. You will be given a whole bunch and you just have to take it home and like separate the fat ones from the thin ones. So the thin ones you clean them and wash them, etc., so that there's no grit inside them, and just take them and pound them in a I suppose food processor. In Kashmir, we would do it by hand on a in a stone mortar and pestle. Then, when it becomes completely mashed up, then after that you put masala, shape them, and fry them. That's what nadra moinj is. Or if you're talking about the long nadar moinj, I don't know whether you are. You would cut them from up to down and make each one like into thin pieces. There are two types of nadar moins, so I don't know which one you are talking about.
As if they want specific, we'll get to know. We'll find out. In the meanwhile, I think that should suffice. Uh, After that, so how's the weather like in Kashmir, say when the trail is happening? Just
Cold,
people want to know. Cold?
cold. Yes.
Hello.
All right.
I think someone's trying to ask a
Yeah.
question.
Is that Deepayan?
Ma'am?
Yeah, please
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
going.
exactly. You are able to hear me?
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. I was actually joined now. I was thinking I'm very unfortunate that I couldn't be a part of this live session because I was the whole day I was just waiting for this thing.
Of course.
Just I want to know what veg dishes are available in Kashmir. Within vegetarian wants to go to Kashmir for holiday.
Oh, there are lots and lots of vegetable dishes. One is tomato paneer. One
Yeah.
is haq. One is like haq can be cooked at least 5 different ways that I can think of offhand. One is
Okay.
nadru with haq. One is like all our dals. They're much more tasty and they're
Okay.
much more lavishly prepared than in the plains. They're not like
Okay.
everyday dals. They're like you take chola dal and you usually cook like one is rajma which you
Rajma,
cook
yeah.
with turnips. There several dishes. The only
Wow.
problem is that on this particular trail, because we will be having things like Vazwan, it's not very possible to cater for vegetarians because
No,
then
no,
a
not
separate
for this
yeah
trail. Just I was just
yeah
because
lots and lots.
I'm a non-Western. My mother is a Western. If someday I'll plan to go take her there,
She
so
won't come
for
back.
that reason.
She'll say हमको
Yeah, that
हमको यहीं का
definitely that
खाना
is. Oh,
खिला दो.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, also I also wanted to just because we can buy property over there, but it's a very it's actually it's a heaven.
Yes,
And
and there's so much for
that place is
vegetarians,
so
very good
yeah.
food for vegetarians.
And what about Kashmiri biryani?
They don't have a biryani, we have a pulao.
No, no. Oh yeah, that I know
We
because
have a
in
pulao
trail
and that
in
is
in
in part
Kashmir
of the
one
Vazwan.
restaurant served us saying that it's Kashmiri biryani. So, but it didn't taste that well. Maybe that restaurant hasn't prepared that.
It's not one of our best dishes, no.
Okay, fine. Thank you. I'm
You're
eagerly
welcome.
looking forward if I'll get a chance to meet you.
Absolutely, I hope so. Thank you.
Definitely. Because my again I had been to Kashmir once, so had for gone for 3 days and I just had eaten everywhere. Just again I want to go to um, Kashmir only for this food thing. So
Absolutely.
hopefully,
Please do come
hopefully,
along. Absolutely.
definitely.
Thank you, ma'am, for the answer. And we've been getting a lot of messages, and they're loving the insights that they're getting and the answers that you've been providing. And lots of thanks for that. So we got another new question. So what's the major difference between Rogan Josh and Hindi Rogan Josh?
Hindi Rogan Josh has more. I'm telling you short, Hindi Rogan Josh has more dahi in it. And
Okay.
Rogan Josh, but Hindi Rogan Josh is also cooked by Muslims, so it's not a mispronunciation of Hindu. I mean, the first year when I got married and went to Kashmir, my
Yeah.
mom-in-law was cooking Hindi Rogan Josh, and I said, "You mean Hindu Rogan Josh, don't you?" And she stares at me and says, "No, I mean Hindi Rogan Josh, and we also make it so."
Interesting. I've never had the Hindi Rogan Josh though.
Yeah, it's not that common, but it seems to be on a revival course.
Okay. Interesting. So, any more questions, guys? We've crossed the halfway mark. We'll be here till 4, and so if you've got any more questions, feel free to ask a question on the comment section. Like we've got another one. What's the most famous dessert prepared in Kashmir? It's asked by John.
Unfortunately, very, very boring desserts. There's one firni which is made with semolina, and that's it. That's it. No other dessert in Kashmir. Which is why all the mithai walas are having a field day, because now people have got a taste for laddus and that kind of thing. So when they have to give wedding invitations and all, they just give mithais now from Haldiram's.
I particularly quite like Firni. I mean, it's not too sweet and it's right
Yes,
perfect at the
yes.
mark.
But you can't have it 365 days a year. That's the only
Right, right.
problem.
Neither do I. Like every once in 6 months, I head out to
Yes, yes,
Jammu.
of course.
Yeah, the local made Firni is quite nice,
Very nice, yes.
especially after dinner, after heavy dinner of chicken,
Yes,
mutton,
it
and all
kind
of
of,
that.
yeah, it makes
Definitely.
you digest your food, yeah.
Okay, so more thanks are coming in. And so, I just wanted to ask, so where does your interest in food come from? Like, when did you start, you know, enjoying cooking or about food, or when did the interest come
I I used to be in a boarding school in Nainital in the 1960s.
in?
The food was absolutely disgusting and absolutely terrible. And to take my mind away from all that boiled dal and boiled potatoes and boiled carrots and terrible stuff. I
Yeah,
used to keep fantasizing about recipes which I used to have in the holidays. 3 months we used to get holidays, winter holidays. And then I used to ask all my friends and classmates, what did you eat? What did you eat? And I had kind of made up a nice little recipe book of what all my friends ate. Now, of course, that recipe book is lost, but it kind of taught me how to look at food and think about food. And while I'm writing the recipe, I would try and recall what the taste could possibly be. So that's kind of helped me along the way somewhere, I suppose.
great. And do you have any particular favorite cuisine that you like?
Unfortunately, Kashmiri.
Which is the second, the closest or the farthest second?
Maybe Greek, or actually, I really can't say because I went to Finland to the archipelago of islands and I found a huge big banquet on a small little steamer, uh, only with fish and seafood. That's it. There was nothing else. And the variety that was there, it's my It's my theory that anywhere in the world you go, you'll find great food. All you have to do is to look.
Interesting. Great. We're looking for more questions. If anyone has a raise of hands would work. I think Geeta had a question. Geeta, we can't hear you. Can you please type in your question? For some reason, your voice is not audible. We'll get Mariam to answer your questions. You can just type it out. So, Mariam, ma'am, till in the meantime,
Yeah.
what are your expectations? So, we've spoken about what the participants can expect, and what they can expect in Kashmir, what
No,
sort of.
I'll tell you, we've not spoken about what the participants can
All
expect.
right,
So let
please,
me just
please
tell
enlighten
you,
us.
you know, there are ingredients. The ingredients are a function of the topography and the geography. The
Yeah.
geography is a function of the climate, and also there's culture. So everything put together, you would think that there would be one set of ingredients or one cuisine, but there's several. There's dogra food, there is street food, there is fast food in the Kashmiri style, not fast food in the American style. There is Muslim food, there is Pandit food, there is vegetable shopping, there is looking around for ingredients like saffron, there is utensil shopping or just looking around at the utensil markets. There are loads and loads of things. There is bread. There's not only one kind of bread. There are, I think, 5 types of bread that I can think of. Then there's cakes, which are only available in Kashmir, nowhere else. And they're only tea time. They never had as desserts after a meal, actually. There's so much in Kashmir. There's lavender plantations, so then you can get lavender water. There are rose plantations, so you get very, very good quality rose water. There is ver masala. There's so much. I don't know how we're all going to fit it in 4 days, but we'll try our best.
And this is the tiny Kashmir Valley that you were talking about. In spite of the tiny, there's so much to explore, I'm guessing.
So much, so much. And then the apple orchards will be in bloom at that time. Saffron fields will be in bloom at that time. Saffron fields are only in bloom for 2 weeks in the entire year. In the entire year. 1 week a little bit early or late and it's gone.
Yeah, it's that tough to catch, then catch it then.
Saffron, yes, yes. So that's why we are having this, like we really carefully thought about when we can have it, and this is it.
All right. Okay, so we got a question from Ishrat.
Right.
I've heard a lot about use of yogurt in many Kashmiri dishes. So
Yes.
how do they differentiate the flavor of various dishes using the same ingredient?
Because they vary the spices then. Like in yakni, for example, there is no there is no chili in the yakni at all. It's just yogurt which is taken and whipped, and a certain specific type of spices are used, the
All right.
aromatic spices.
And there's another question from Rajan.
Right.
There's a Kashmiri delicacy called rista.
Yes.
Yeah, he'd like to know more about that. What it's about, how it's made.
That and its big brother Goshtaba are the two highlights of a Kashmiri Wazwan. Meat is taken, like say, from the leg, and it is put on a tree, I mean on a piece of, you can say, wood, like say a tree stump or something, and then it's hammered and hammered. That same piece, like say it's 100-gram piece of meat, it's hammered for about 15 minutes. So all the texture of the meat goes out. It's something like molecular cooking before all these Spanish chefs got it. It's you just take the meat and you make it into a silky texture, and then you use very, very little spices like badi elaichi, for example, and then you put it into a gravy, and the meat cooks in that. So when you taste it, it does not have a meaty texture at all. That's what I mean by saying that, like, it has not come from royalty, but it's an extremely painstaking cuisine with a lot of the use of aromatic spices combined.
And he wants to know, will it be possible for him to make it one day? It's like his dream. And that would it
Dude,
be like
go
real
to the
culinary skills?
gym. Go to the gym for about 3 months, develop your muscles, but it's not easy, it's not difficult to get a tree stump or something. Just go, and if you can pound it, of course you can make it. Pounding is the most difficult. If you didn't have to pound it, or if you could use a food processor, then everybody would be making it. But a food processor would break up the fibers. You have to uh, you have to actually beat it like you're beating an enemy. That's it. And you've got it. Of course you can make it. And then call me to your house and I'll come and taste it for you.
Great, that sounds good. There's Sharik has heard about some chutney prepared from pumpkin, radish, and walnut. Uh,
Yeah, actually that's three different chutneys. The
okay.
pumpkin chutney is it's chutney. I mean it's pumpkin cooked, steamed, and when it's soft, it's just like folded up with a little bit of Kashmiri jeera. That's it, and salt. That's it. And a little bit of, if you want, you can put dahi, which has been, all the water has been drained off, and you just mix it. And then the other two chutneys, walnut chutney is pounded, but this does not require muscles because anyone can do it, with a little bit of green chili, a little bit of onion, salt, and that's it. And then you've got your walnut chutney and moli chutney, which is called mujh chutney. That is also a little bit about the same. I mean, you take a little bit of uh, uh, dahi and you take an onion and a little bit of moli and you and green chili, pound them all together and you've got it. So this, it's not a very smooth thing except for pumpkin. It's a little bit coarse and that's what makes it so tasty. And it's a great, I mean, even if you're not making anything else Kashmiri, it's a very great thing to have in your house. But then you have to make it fresh every day. You can't have kalka bana hua chutney today. I mean, that's not the way the cuisine works.
All right, we've got an interesting suggestion from Deepayan. Ma'am,
Right.
do you have any questions to ask from the participants here right now? Maybe they can
Okay. Yes,
take.
yes. I have a very important question. You know, the thing is that even for a non-vegetarian person, in Bangalore, for example, he will eat one leg of chicken, then he'll eat some dal, then he'll eat some vegetables, then he'll eat a chutney, then he'll eat a salad, then he'll eat a dessert. Okay, and that's the way he's going to eat his meal almost every day. In Kashmir, it's going to be meat, like only mutton and a roti for dinner. It's going to be vazwan with 10 or 15 meat dishes for lunch, and it's going to be that kind of food day in and day out. So there won't be any dal, there won't be any salad, there won't be any vegetables. So it can get heavy going. I know it sounds like, oh, I'm a pure carnivore, but try and eat only meat for 4 days and tell me how you feel at the end of it. I mean, if you are very sure that you want to be on the trip, maybe you should try eating meat and only meat for 4 days.
I think I can do that.
Okay, good,
I may
good.
also put in my application for.
Yes, yes, please do.
You- Anyway, anyways, there's so much talk about good food happening right now. There's Nishka wants to know, is there any food-related folklore about Kashmir?
Uh, Not food related, but rice related. Half of our sayings and kahawats and whatnot, half of it has rice in it.
Hmm.
Give me your plate of rice, I'm going to break your plate of rice. And you have become blind because you have been um, like charnowing rice, etc., etc. That thing keeps on coming over and over again. And feeding birds, feeding pigeons, feeding animals, feeding fish with rice. That's a very common thing. I'm not feeling well. Okay, okay, just go to the river and throw in some rice and you'll feel better. Because then the fish will start praying for you. That's a I suppose it's a Sufi tradition, and it works. I mean, it it a very prevalent attitude in Kashmir.
Interesting. Ma'am, I had one question of my own.
Yes, yes,
You
please.
had spoken about fast food in Kashmir, which is unlike the fast food in America. So
Yeah.
what is this Kashmiri fast food exactly?
Mutton, of course. What else could it be? It's it's like small pieces of mutton marinated for the whole day, and in the evening, when the weather, like when the sun is about to set, then all these people come out with their bhattis. They thread the mutton onto a skewer, and they grill it on the bhatti in the open market. And if you're like within 10 feet away, you don't have to walk towards it. Your feet will automatically walk, and that's it.
I can already feel it.
Yeah, it's like a magnet, it'll draw you every time. And then there's like fried fish with lots of masala and that kind of thing.
So
Marryam,
where
I
is
have
this
a
place?
question.
Yeah,
Yes.
Were you asking a question? Um, Sir, were you
yeah.
asking a question, or should I go ahead?
Go ahead, please.
No, I wanted to know, in the other parts of the country, there's very specific kind of food that's made during morning time. When someone passes away, there's very specific morning food made, different from regular food. The kinds of ingredients, the way in which it's cooked, etc. Is there some tradition like that in Kashmir as well?
I'm so sorry, half of your question went.
Oh dear. Should I just repeat that?
Yes, please.
Okay. I wanted to ask, in other parts of the country, there's a very strong tradition of morning food, when somebody passes away, when people are in mourning,
Yes. Yeah.
So is
No,
there
there's
something
a
like that in Kashmir as well?
very strong. We wait for the fourth day, and then we give a huge big feast for the family so that the departed can actually depart in peace with lots
Please,
and lots of
okay.
meat. So
Great.
that's
Okay.
so whether
That's
you're
a good way.
alive.
That's a good way to send someone off with lots of
Yeah,
meat.
and when someone is born, we also have exactly the same thing. And during the person's lifetime, meat is eaten almost on an everyday basis.
Okay.
Unless, of course, the doctor tells you, please be vegetarian one day a week. And then after that, you say, this doctor doesn't know a damn thing. I'm going to give him up. Yes, please tell me.
Okay, and there was some Rajan will join the gym as you had suggested, and you'll
Yes,
invite
please.
once he prepares the dish. And there's Shirish Patak who's willing to take up the challenge of eating meat 4 days in a row, just to prepare for the trail, maybe five. And so they've been eating a lot. So we've got the last 5 minutes. We'll wrap up. So any last questions, anything that we may have? I'll take the last question. We've got one in the comments. What fruits will be available during the trip? Uh,
Um, there will only be apples. That's the last fruit that comes. The pears, the peaches, the apricots, all of them have come and gone.
all right.
So now, but Kashmiri apples are fairly famous, so I don't suppose it's going to be a very hard task for us to eat a few Kashmiri apples every day.
Very good. Ma'am, any last comments, last anything you would want to tell the participants?
You know what?
L-
The
Uh,
group has to have fun at the end of the day. We have to learn and we have to have fun and we have to enjoy hanging out with each other. It can't be like, and I would like to say one thing. Of course, we'll try and put in ingredient shopping or utensil shopping. But yes, if there's a Mughal fort or a Mughal garden that you've always heard about, or if your parents have been to Verinag or Dachigam on their honeymoon, I'm really sorry, but there won't be any time to do that because this is a food trail. So just, I mean, if you're not comfortable with the idea, just do give it a think because it's not only going to be um, okay, I want to go here, so I'm going off on my own. The group will have to be a cohesive one.
So
Of
it's not
course, we'll have a lot of fun, so it's not going to be very difficult to be with each other 24/7. But yes, and we'll always be doing something or the other around food.
great. So that was an important piece of information for everyone. Um, so I think we can take one last question before we close it. And So are there any special dishes made from apples?
Mm, not that I can think of. N- uh, Not apples, but there's quinces. Quinces are eaten, but this won't be the season for quinces. Quinces, of course, bihi in Urdu, I think. That's it.
All right. So that's a wrap then. Thank you, ma'am, for your time and all the.
Thank you very much, everyone. Such interesting questions. I can see that all of you are very, very passionate about the subject of food, and we're going to have an absolutely fabulous time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your
Thank you
time.
everyone for
Thank
participating
you very
and
much.
we all look forward to having you here. Thank you.
I'd love to meet all of you in person. Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye.